This is We All Be, news-free Dixie for the 21st century. See how it works? Somewhere. Can you dig it? Oh, baby, let me be your teddy bear. Put a chain around my neck and lead me anywhere. Oh, let me be your teddy bear. I don't want to be a tiger. Tigers play too rough. I don't want to be a lion, 'cause lions ain't the kind to love enough. Oh, let me be your teddy bear. I just wanna be your teddy bear, baby.
Down the hall, in one of the little small rooms rehearsing. And so Dale or somebody came in the room and said, "Hey, y'all want to meet Elvis Presley?" And we were all little kids. We like flipped out. We were like, "Oh yeah." So they took us down the hall and we went in the studio, and Elvis, big as life, standing in the center of the room, and he had his whole entourage that you might see now in the video in the studio, and he stopped his session and he spoke to all of us. He shook our hands, you know, and we were at odds. We were young, 17, 18, 19. And then he said, "Y'all want to see my car?" And we said, "Yeah." So he took us outside the parking lot, and he had the little Studebaker. I think Ford did a remake on it. So a little Studebaker, little Ford two-seater, and he opened the door. The interior was mink. And
I thought it was leopard.
And the dashboard had red lights, and when you opened the door, the red lights flashed Elvis Presley.
Wow.
I mean, we were just to meet Elvis Presley.
Yes. I was there.
We're caught in a trap. I can't walk out, 'cause I love you too much, baby. Welcome everybody to another wonderful, edutaining, infotaining edition of We All Be, news-free Dixie for the 21st century. Oh. All right. This is the show that I've been promising for a minute. This is the secret relationship, the secret relationship between blacks and Elvis. That's right, boys and girls, scholars and laymen. And if you don't know, now you will know. You see how it works, man? Okay, all right. So we're going to get down to it. Show called The Secret Relationship Between the Blacks and Elvis. You know where I got that from, all you woke, hope, tip folk. Y'all know where I got that from. It's a homage to that great work from the NOI. And if you don't know, now you know. There you go. You see how it works? You see how it works there. So we're gonna be talking about Elvis, the icon. He just had his birthday. He would have been 88. Crazy 88, man. On January the 8th. He was born January the 8th, 1935 in Tupelo, Mississippi. He actually had a twin brother who didn't make it. He actually was born after his twin brother. His twin brother was stillborn. So when he was birthed, he was dead. When he was born, he was dead, right? And then Elvis came along. I'm all shook up. Oh, I don't know you do all. Oh, thank you, Mom. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. But can you imagine two Presley brothers? You know, you have the princess of rock and roll. Well, how would that work? But I guess God don't make mistakes. I don't know. But his brother was named Jason Guerin. So Jason Guerin Presley was the twin brother of Elvis Aaron Presley, right? So he was born in Tupelo, right? He lived to be what? Elvis lived to be 42. Is that right? Am I right? He 42. 1 year younger than Gangsta Boo. May she rest in honor. And by the way, this show is dedicated to the memory of one Lola Mitchell, aka Gangsta Boo, aka Lady Boo. See what it do, boo? Boo 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 boo. I had no idea that I was just like maybe 3 to 6 degrees of separation from being an acquaintance of Lady Boo. I thought, I had no idea because I say this because I didn't know that she passed away at Charmel Neely's home. Charmel Neely Alexander. I met her doing an Amnesty International event in Memphis. She is one of the descendants of Tom Lee. Tom Lee is a folk hero of sorts. He actually saved a whole bunch of rich, wealthy, elite white folks from drowning in the Mississippi River back in the day. And he was a guest of honor at the White House back in the 20s for he was the guest of honor at President Calvin Coolidge. He was recognized as a hero, actually, by saving those good old white folk that were about to drown in Mississippi. He saved the white folks that were the elite ruling class for Memphis that dominated Memphis politics and economics for decades. And so what's interesting about Tom Lee, he had a boat called the Zell, but he couldn't swim. Like Tom Lee was able to save other people from drowning, but he couldn't swim himself. So we know how black folks are magical people. And so he was looked at as a hero by some people. Some people saw it another way. They wish he didn't go out of his way to say them good white folk, but it is what it is. But he was acknowledged as a hero. It made national news of the time. He was invited to the White House. There's a picture of him with Calvin Coolidge in the Rose Garden at the White House, at the white folks' house. And Tom Lee, they had a statue down back in the day dedicated to Tom Lee in what is now known as Tom Lee Park. They call him a worthy Negro, something like that. And it was destroyed by some weather. I don't know, it was a thunderstorm or something destroyed that original monument. So they actually made a life sculpture of him on his boat, the Zev, reaching out to somebody overboard. And it was interesting because when we had our flood, when the Mississippi River flooded, now we a bluff city. We call it Bluff City because we sit on a bluff, but the Mississippi, it flooded back in the spring of 2011. What was amazing, unique, is that there's photos of that sculpture of Tom Lee. But it's like it rises up to the bottom of his boat, and he's out, reaching out to a person overboard. And it's like it's weird. It's like life imitating art or art imitating life or whatever, the circle of life. So that Charmel Neely, that was one of her best friends. Her daughter recognized her as Auntie Lola. So she died at her home. And I had no idea. I met Sister Charmel back in 2000, let's say like 2008. I was contracted to work with Amnesty International, and they was honoring Tom Lee while they was in Memphis. And so they reached out to the descendants or relatives of Tom Lee, and she was one of them. And so I became friends, quick, fast friends with her and her husband, the late great brother Eric. And that was, man, that's wow, 2000. I had no idea that her and Gangsta Boo was that close like that. And so I just found out about it like yesterday. I had no idea because the local news interviewed her about the passing of Boo. They went to her home to interview her, and she actually had Gangsta Boo's key to the city from the city of Memphis. She actually had that framed in her living room as she was speaking about her dear friend. So my prayers and thoughts are with Sister Charmel and her daughter, her beautiful daughter, little daughter, who knew Gangsta Boo as Auntie Lola. And so I had no idea because one of, I think Gangsta Boo's last music video she shot with Drummer Boy, And we actually honored Drummer Boy last year at the Orpheum Theater for the 2020 Jimmy Lunsford Legacy Awards, and that was wild. And they shot at the train station not that far from where I'm living. That's it. That was another chance I could have probably connect with the Boo. I had no idea, but then I think about Drummer Boy did a lot of great work with Gangsta Boo as far as production work. He did beats for her, and Drummer Boy is unsung. Gangsta Boo is unsung. Brilliant musicians, visionaries in their own rights. Both Leos, so they know how to rule. They're about ruling, doing their thing, but also being just and fair. The Leo way, I guess, being seen, but also being just and fair, and want to make other people feel good about themselves. It's the Leo way. Okay, okay, okay. So, uh, and then I remember the first time and last time I actually saw Gangsta Boo perform live was around the time that Kusta Nika was, passing on one of her band members. 3 6 Mafia lost three significant band members. Kusta Nika, who died back on October 9th, 2015. Then Lord Infamous, who died, I want to say December 20th, or either December 20th or 21st, maybe December 20th, 2013. Very influential members of 3 6 Mafia. Kusta Nika and Lord Infamous both passed on at 40. Gangsta Boo got out of here at 43. That's crazy to me to think about, because you think about even the Rolling Stones, and what the last time they lost a member, I think they lost their drummer Charlie Watts or Waits or whatever. I don't know. Don't quote me on that because I'm not looking at anything. But Mick Jagger and them, Keith Richards still around, and people would think Keith Richards would have been out of here as much drugs he allegedly took. Maybe I don't know. Like Bob Dylan's still touring. Bob Dylan is in the 80s, right? Maybe they made them deals. Once they stop performing, that's when they gotta go. I don't know. I don't know. I know Bob Dylan did an interesting interview back in the day to talk about the deal he made. And he started there performing. People say he forgetting lyrics and making up new songs to old songs, remixing stuff. I remember I saw Lauryn Hill here in Memphis at Minglewood Hall. Same venue that I saw Gangsta Boo perform. I'm in Love Again with Rhonda Jules, Killer Mike, and LP. And also the reason why I was able to get in that concert was because I know the Rhonda Jules official DJ, brother named Gabe, my Ivory brother, Gabe, I met in college, classmates up at WashU in St. Louis. Also known professionally as DJ Trackstar. He's their professional DJ. So he got me in, but I didn't get a chance. I wish I probably could have connected with Gangsta Boo then, probably perhaps. But I known three people that were connected to Gangsta Boo on an intimate level, or they professional, intimate, whatever. And unfortunate, I didn't get a chance to meet her like that. But I'm glad, I'm grateful I got a chance to see her perform. She was an excellent performer, had a great stage presence, just talented, beautiful young lady. I hope she knew how much she was loved before she got out of here. I hope she knew that. May she rest in honor. And I guess I'm gonna have to do what I do. You know how we do it. God bless the dead. We don't forget the dead. We don't forget the fallen. We elevate. We amplify their legacy. So we'll see. Maybe there's a Gangsta Boo tribute from the Jimmy Lunsford Legacy Awards, like we did for Dolph last year. And I can't believe it, but it's kind of weird. But this show is dedicated to her memory, and I hope y'all enjoy yourselves. I hope I do her justice, because I'm not talking about Boo tonight, but we're talking about she's part of this amazing heritage, which is Memphis music. And we're going to talk about a person that's very influential, iconic, not just only in Memphis music, but also in American and world culture, Elvis Aaron Presley, but also his connection with the black community in Memphis and beyond. That's a story that doesn't really get told enough. You know, people would think that all black folks couldn't stand Elvis. We don't care for Elvis, da da da. But I grew up in Memphis, and then just talking to older people like my mom and them, they loved Elvis, man. They loved Elvis. They love Elvis, and you talk to people that were iconic figures in the music and entertainment business. Even today's artists have a reverence for Elvis. I'm a black artist. I know Chuck D said that famous line about Elvis and stuff. He was a hero to most, but and then Flavor Flav said MF him and John Wayne, something like that. But then whatever. But Memphis is interesting. It's just got all just this embarrassment of riches that we don't really appreciate in Memphis. I can even recall I had a chance to see Isaac Hayes perform one more time. Right before he died, he performed at the Orpheum Theater, and Chuck D was hosting the Stax. I think it was Stax 50th anniversary. Was it Stax 50th anniversary? I think Stax was founded at Satellite Records back in '57. So there was 2007. So Isaac Hayes performed Shaft, but you could tell that he had some issues with mobility, but it was amazing to see him perform his signature hit that won him an Oscar. This is before 3 6 Mafia, you know what I'm saying? And I remember when I was a bag boy at Cecil's, one of our grocery stores back in the day, that actually got started before the Civil War. It's no longer in business. It sold out on, say, the Albertsons or one of these big grocery chains nationwide, whatever. But I used to work as a bag boy when I was in high school. And I remember Isaac Hayes came to Cecil's. This was around the time South Park just came out, and it was like a overnight sensation. Like people like the other bag boys to my homeland, they were quoting Cartman and South Park and all this stuff. So, Isaac Hayes was chef. He was the chef, the high school. I mean the school cook, culinary artist, whatever, chef. So I remember Isaac Hayes came to Cecil's, right, the shop, and all the women were just screaming, "It's Isaac Hayes, this is Black Moses, da 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 da." And I'm a bag boy. We getting them carts outside. You know what I'm saying? Rolling carts, whatever, grocery carts. And I remember Isaac Hayes. He was signing autographs on the females. Had a diversity. He had like a Basket Robbins, 32 flavors. They had all types of women, even younger women. They all shouting his name and wanted to get a autograph or something. And I remember he looked at us, the guys. He said, "Oh, I ain't gonna sign you nothing, fellas." Something like that. He said, "I ain't signing y'all nothing, fellas." We think like we don't care. We don't care about getting your autograph. We ain't say that to him like that, but we like nobody asked. We didn't ask you for your autograph. But like my mom, I remember my mom telling me a story that she was at a rental car place getting a rental car, and next thing you know, Ike Turner walked in, whatever, to get his rental car, whatever, and like she immediately recognized who he was, and she went up and said hello and thanked him, all this other stuff she does, and she got his autograph, I believe. But what's sad about that is Ike Turner, who's from Clarksdale, who was credited with being the first person to make a rock and roll song. Now, I don't believe in all that first and all that stuff in a system like this, and rock and roll, rhythm and blues, jazz, whatever is music, right? But he wrote and composed Rocket 88 in the same place where Bessie Smith breathed her last breath when she died as a result from a horrible car accident in Clarksdale. She died in Clarksdale at the Riverside. I guess it was a black hospital or whatever you called it back then, but it's known today as the Riverside. I want to say the Riverside Motel, if not hotel. But Ike Turner used to live there. A lot of great blues and music greats stayed at that hotel, whatever motel. I think like Muddy Waters, who's from Coahoma County, stayed there, whatever. But he wrote Rocket 88 there. And, he had a group with Jackie Brinston was the front man, the saxophonist. And the thing about Ike Turner, he wrote a lot of hits he don't get credit for. Like he's not he didn't get writer's credit for a lot of things he wrote and produced. And he was cheated out of his credit with Rocket 88 as well. You know what I'm saying? It's like, he wrote a lot of songs. Like I talked about it on one show about these Hungarian Jewish American brothers, the Baharis, how they took advantage of blues artists and R&B artists like Johnny Ace, like Ike Turner, like John Lee Hooker, like B.B. King. B.B. King talked about it, how they took, his songwriting credits and stuff and cheat him out of royalties. And that's the nature of the beast. But I mean, black and whites get done like that. As we talked about, just look up Bobby Fuller, Look up how Rolling Stones and the Beatles were done by Sam Cooke's former manager and business partner, Alan Klein, allegedly. All this stuff. So it's the only color that matters in music is green, or in business is green, rather. And so I'm gonna recognize Ike Turner. It made him feel good that somebody, I guess, especially a black woman, will recognize him after the hit job on What's Love Got to Do with It, the Owl pick that really over exaggerated and made Ike Turner into like an overnight boogeyman, which he should also be recognized as one of the founding fathers of rock and roll and a true R&B innovator, an innovator of R&B, and also the guy who gave us Tina Turner. Now, I remember I read an article around the time Ike Turner passed on, and like Tina's family, her blood family was saying that they love Ike. You know what I'm saying? That Ike helped Tina a lot. He don't get a lot of credit that he deserves, and Tina kept that last name for a reason because that's rock royalty. Turner is rock royalty. You know what I'm saying? That's well earned and deserved. And Ike Turner, Rocket 88 came out on Sun Records, the same record label that discovered Elvis. But Ike Turner was like a talent scout for Sam Phillips, who ran Sun Records. You know what I'm saying? Ike Turner was a talent scout because what Sam Phillips was trying to do. Sam Phillips was also from Florence, Alabama, like W.C. Handy, the father of the blues, who got, he had a very strong start here in Memphis back in the day, W.C. Handy. His Memphis Blues was actually a campaign song he wrote for Boss Crump. E.H. Crump, one of the most powerful political bosses in American history. He up there with all of them you could name. Pendergast out of Kansas City, out of Kansas, KC. You got Tammany Hall, you got the Boss Tweed, and you got, Boss Crump, who ran Memphis and the western part of Tennessee for decades. So he wrote, W.C. Handy wrote the campaign song for Boss Crump, which ended up becoming the Memphis Blues, known as the Memphis Blues. But Sam Phillips was a white dude from Florence, Alabama. Let me make sure I got that right. Is he from Florence? I'm saying Florence. From Florence, Alabama. I want to say it right. Yeah, I'll get on a person's head, a black man's head, Florence, Alabama, like W.C. Handy. Okay. But his goal was to make black musicians household names in white folks' homes. He wanted the mainstream. Sam Phillips wasn't trying to look for white people that sounded black. He was looking for black people that sounded like themselves in order to sell to white America, to white middle class America. His passion was to put black musicians on because he was actually, I believe, taught to appreciate music and sound by a blind man who was his teacher when he was growing up. This blind man showed him how to listen and appreciate sound. Think about that. Black people were very powerful. You know what I'm saying? Because you look at Alabama, the king of country music. You know what I'm saying? Hank Williams Sr. His master teacher was a black man that his mom hired to teach her son how to do music. This guy named Rufus T-Top Payne taught Hank Williams Sr. how to do his instrument. He's a multi-talented instrumentalist. T-Top was, singing all this stuff, could play any instrument. Just about, he put his hand on. He wanted people that could play probably anything. He put his hands on. Excuse me. Let me enunciate. Okay. He put his hands on, right? And his mom, Hank Williams Sr. mom, hired that man to teach her son how to play. And before Hank Williams Sr. died at the age of 29 under questionable circumstances, he acknowledged T-Top as being probably his only teacher, something like that. Like, this is the guy that actually taught me what I use. And I like Hank Williams stuff. I like his stuff. His son, Hank Williams Jr., used to do the theme song for Monday Night Football back in the day when I was growing up. He also wrote a song in honor of his father's master teacher name. It's called T-Tot. You should check it out. It's actually good. But it tells the story of who this man was and how important he was to his father. And, matter of fact, Hank Williams Jr. and the Grand Ole Opry, they dedicated a monument in honor of T-Tot in the cemetery he's buried in outside of Montgomery called Lincoln Cemetery. He died sometime during the Great Depression, and he's buried somewhere in that cemetery in an unmarked grave, kind of like how Buddy Bolden is buried in an unmarked grave down in New Orleans. Or that Holt Cemetery, Holt, I think down New Orleans. I'm not sure. I'm not gonna look it up. But we talk about Elvis, but I'm trying to paint a picture here. I'm trying to paint some pictures here, right? So yeah, they dedicated that monument. It's at the entrance of Lincoln Cemetery outside of Montgomery. So you start talking about, George Gershwin, one of the greatest composers of all time. His master teacher. This is a Jewish guy. He did Porgy and Bess, Summertime. Black folks love that song, Summertime. I never heard one bad version of Summertime. I never heard a bad version of Summertime. Nobody, even if you sing out of tune, you can't sing a bad version of Summertime. It's impossible, in my opinion. Now I'm not an expert, but I did stay in the Holiday Inn. No, I never stay. I'm staying in art space, man. And the point that I'm saying is it owes its uniqueness because it comes out of jazz. Jazz is all about having a distinctive voice, right? George Gershwin's master teacher was a guy named Lucky Roberts out of Philadelphia. He was a Harlem Stride piano player, black dude from Philly, who made a fortune in real estate in the New York area. He was into real estate. That's how he made his money. That's how he became a millionaire, from my understanding. But he was George Gershwin's teacher. He taught George Gershwin how to do some music stuff. And George Gershwin took it and made his own lane. Matter of fact, George Gershwin, music hero, was another black guy named Lieutenant James Reese Europe, who was the founder and director of the Harlem Hellfighters jazz band of the mighty 369th Infantry Regiment under France. It was the New York National 15th Regiment, but America did not want to accept its chocolate doughboys. So the French had to adopt American soldiers because the white doughboys of the American Expeditionary Forces did not respect their own fellow citizens. So they was adopted by the French and became one of, if not the most decorated regiment in the entire war. The regiment, many of the members won the Croix de Guerre, or Croix de Guerre, de Guerre, whatever, de Guerre. It's like the France's equivalent to the Medal of Honor here in America. Their highest military honor, if not mistaken. And James Reese Europe, actually, last name Europe, can't make this up. Jazz ragtime pioneer. He was the band director for one of the top dance couples in the country, society dance couples, the Castles, Vernon and Irene Castle. He was their music director. But James Reese Europe was like one of the most well-known black people in America, like up there with Jack Johnson and stuff. He was very well known and respected as so-called a king of ragtime jazz, whatever, da da da. But George Gershwin used to listen to him play piano at a Barry and Wilkins nightclub in Harlem. I think Barry and Wilkins or Wilkinson, something like that. The Barry guy, he looked like a cross between like Denzel Washington and Jay-Z or something like that. He looked like he was a shrewd businessman. I think it was known like as the big bankroll or something like that. He was kind of like a black Arnold Rothstein, so to speak. He was all into finance and stuff like that, and ran a couple of clubs, very popular establishments. Was killed by a black gangster. I think the black gangster name was Yellow Charleston. He ended up getting the chair with the Sing Sing, got fried like some bacon for killing Baron Wilkins. I think his name's Baron Wilkins or Baron Wilkinson. But anyway, y'all look that up too. But you see the pattern I'm painting here? Even Irving Berlin, the guy who wrote God Bless America, allegedly. I don't know, maybe he stole it. The reason why I brought his name up because I read stories where they said that Irving Berlin actually took a lot of compositions that Scott Joplin wrote, the king of ragtime writers. Scott Joplin was a black man from Texarkana, and he was known as the king of ragtime writers because he was a brilliant composer. He wrote, and then what I liked about Scott Joplin was the fact that he would help his fellow ragtime piano players who didn't read music, couldn't read or notate music. He would help them immortalize their music and they would share credit. Like one of my favorite people was like a guy named Louis Chauvin. He was like black and Mexican, he was like Afro Latino or whatever, I guess, but he was black and he had some Mexican in him. And he was a very gifted ragtime piano player, but he couldn't read music, but he had perfect pitch, had photographic memory. So Scott Joplin helped him write down something that I love, the Heliotrope Bouquet, song called the Heliotrope Bouquet. And Louis Chauvin died young, unfortunately. He's part of the 27 Club. You got all these well-known artists who died at 27, like a Jimi Hendrix, a Jim Morrison, Jean Michel Basquiat, Robert Johnson, Janis Joplin, so many people. Amy Winehouse died at 27. So he's a part of that 27 Club. But like, he lives on because Scott Joplin helped notate his music. But I heard stories of Irving Berlin taking other people's like black musicians, like Scott Joplin's compositions and putting his name on it. You hear stories about white guys from Tin Pan Alley, the music industry, going to Harlem, Uptown, whatever, to these jazz clubs and listening to these brilliant jazz musicians and like Fats Waller or something like that, and hear their songs and they notate the songs and run back to Tin Pan Alley, put their names on it, and make a fortune. I remember reading a story about, actually this is Duke Ellington's autobiography, Music Was His Mistress, and it's worth a read because it's Duke Ellington talking about his extraordinary life because he was truly beyond category. He talked about how he wrote this musical overnight. This guy, he got with somebody, he wrote a musical overnight. The dude took it and ran away to Europe or something, became rich. Something like that. Like the dude took the music and the stuff he helped to write. He didn't give Duke any type of credit. He just took it and ran with it, produced the musical, and made a fortune. And Duke got nothing. So you hear these type of stories of Fats Waller, stuff. He sold so many of his great works away. I don't think his estate has a right to any of his intellectual property, Fats Waller. I'm not sure, but I heard stories where Fats Waller will sell the same music composition over and over again to white Tin Pan Alley. Like he'll change the title of the same tune. It'll be the same tune, but he'll change the title and sell it again and again, getting $40 off of each composition. See, this stuff that I just pick up on, I don't know, because we don't, people say we should read, but you can't believe everything you read, and like, it's based on people's perspectives and bias and all that stuff. How, you can have facts, but it's how the facts are interpreted. People say numbers don't lie, but it's how the numbers are used in certain type of context or agendas. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to throw stuff, I'm just throwing crumbs on the ground. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm just throwing crumbs on the ground, trying to show y'all a pattern here. Y'all saying that people say, well, Elvis stole black music. I'm saying we assist people in stealing our property, our intellectual property. We teach these folks how to take from us. We teach these folks how to appropriate our genius. So Elvis didn't really steal. He just, hey, people gave him stuff and he took advantage of it. Like, like it's a saying, like I think to paraphrase Picasso, he said, good artists borrow and great artists steal. Good artists borrow and great artists steal. You understand? You see how it works? Somewhere, right? But I love to give the devil his due. I think with Elvis, I'm not the biggest Elvis fan, but I do enjoy his music. I think Elvis was talented. His favorite song that he done that I love, my favorite song of Elvis is Suspicious Minds. We're caught in a trap. I can't walk out. Cause I love you too much, baby. Something like that, whatever. But that's my favorite Elvis song. But Elvis was an amazing entertainer. And you can't take that away from him. You may not like him, but he was great. But, good rocking tonight. I think Wynonie Harris did it better. Who is Wynonie Harris? Look up Wynonie Harris. Wynonie Harris was great. He didn't care about being king of the white people hill. He wanted to be king of the black hill. Wynonie Harris was amazing, man. Like, He's a good looking guy. He could dance. I mean, it's unfortunate there's no clips of him or footage of him dancing or performing, but he was up there. Wynonie Harris. He's from Nebraska. I think he had green eyes. He had a bedroom, very seductive eyes. Women love him. High yellow guy. Like he got some Native American in his genealogy. You know, there's a good looking dude, sound good, had stage presence, but he also had a drinking problem. You know, a lot of his songs either dealing with sex or dealing with alcohol. So this is not a hip hop thing because all the music is dealing with, you know, drugs, sex, and rock and roll before it was rock and roll. You know what I'm saying? Like you look at jazz, they talk about drugs and sex and all this stuff, blues, drugs, and sex. They even were using profanity in some of these blues songs and stuff back in the 20s. This is before hip hop, rap, Nicki Minaj, Gangsta Boo, Cardi B. This stuff been around. It's been around, but we don't study history like we should. We don't study it. You know, jazz, you know, came out the bordellos or the brothels and the speakeasies. You know, crime helped breed our culture. It was the underbelly. You know, think about some of my greatest entertainers and performers and their connections to prostitutes or brothels and pimps and stuff like that. I'm think about Richard Pryor. You know, his grandma was a madam. They dramatized that in the semi autobiographical JoJo Dancer. You know, Richard played JoJo Dancer, who was based off of him, so to speak. He sets himself on fire, freebasing like Richard Pryor. But Richard Pryor's grandma in real life was a madam. She ran a brothel. So Richard grew up in that environment. You think about Louis Armstrong. You know, he grew up in Storyville area. You know, he used to sell coal to the prostitutes and whatnot. I believe for the Russian Jewish family known as Konovskis. And I can't believe that building that they used to live in and work out of, it got destroyed not too long ago. I think because of a hurricane. From the effects of a hurricane. I want to say this back in 2019. I didn't know anything existed that was connected to the Konovskis as far as a building. But that's Louis Armstrong. They hired Louis when he was a kid. They help him get his first horn. He stayed in touch with them over the years. And like I said, Louis Armstrong could speak fluent Yiddish. He was highly intelligent and a great communicator, prolific letter writer. Should read his letters he wrote. It was in a book that was edited by a Duke professor at the time named I want to say Thomas Brothers. I met Thomas Brothers. I think his name was Thomas Brothers. He was from B More, but he was a cool guy. He did he edited selected writings by Louis Armstrong that came out a while back, maybe over 20 years ago, but it's worth a read. Louis is a very fascinating dude. But you know, Louis' first wife was a prostitute, Daisy Parker. You know, I heard his mom was turning tricks. I think his daddy was a trick of his mom. You know, to help ends meet. Ain't we lucky we got 'em a good time? Yeah. Okay. So we won't get to the Elvis thing. I'm getting to the Elvis thing, right? I'm trying to paint y'all a picture. You know, that we, you know, ebony and ivory. Okay, for example, post a picture of BB King and Elvis, home, Elvis Presley, BB King, home. See, like that movie, Elvis that came out last year. It's actually is a good movie. I would recommend you all, if you haven't seen Elvis, regardless of how you feel about the man, his music, his legacy, see that movie. It's actually it's a well done movie. And shout out to Austin Butler. He won the Golden Globes for the Elvis thing. But like true to Elvis, he was actually born August 17th. Like, you know, Elvis died on August 16th. But Austin Butler is a life path number 9. Elvis was a life path number 9. I am a life path number 9. But he had a life path number 9. You know, here's a life path number 9 portraying, or, you know, a life path number 9 who's a global icon. Richard Pryor was a life path number 9, by the way. But Austin Butler had an assist from a well-respected black actor. Denzel Washington put in a cold call to the director of the Elvis biopic to cast Austin Butler. So you had a black man validating this white guy in order to be cast in a story about a white dude being validated by black people like B.B. King, like Jackie Wilson, like James Brown, like Fats Domino. Yeah, Elvis Aaron Presley. Yeah, the one y'all said, only thing a black person can do for me is shine my shoes. And he didn't even say that, but they'll make up stuff and we run with it because we want to believe the worst about people, especially people of a different hue a lot of times. But not saying any of his faults because you can actually Google this up or go on YouTube. David Letterman back in the day had on Otis Blackwell, this black musician, singer, songwriter from Nashville. And a lot of the hits that Elvis made famous, Otis wrote. But Otis never got the glory like he should. So David Letterman allowed Otis to perform some medley of his hits that you all may recognize and take for granted, but you never knew that the black dude wrote this, right? But I'm gonna show BB King this iconic photograph of BB King and Elvis Presley, both young guys and good friends, respected each other, had respect went both ways, right? At a fundraising event for WDIA, their annual event, and I'm gonna show you the picture of Elvis and BB King. And I'm also want to share some words from BB King about what he thought about Elvis and where he fits in the whole trajectory of things and in the annal of things. And maybe it'll change your mind, maybe it doesn't, but it's not important that you see things a certain way. It's important that you see these things and make an assessment and heighten the contradictions and figure it out for yourself. So you see the picture, right? You see this picture. BB King and Elvis, young men, dappers. They fresh. They so fresh and so clean. So fresh and so clean, clean. You know what I'm saying? Dun, 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 dun. So this was taken at the WDIA Goodwill Review on December 7th, 1956 by Ernest Withers. The one who was the FBI informant, prolific photographer during the Civil Rights Movement. I actually met Ernest Withers. I know his kinfolk, his people. The legacy is complex, but it's more than meets the eye. But the fact that he existed and he took this picture, I won't say it I mean, it kind of even out. You look at his whole legacy. We'll do another show about that some other day. I actually did a couple of shows about Ernest Withers' legacy, but this is a very iconic moment that he caught you guys at basically at the beginning of their career, so to speak, just now making wave. But this is like after Elvis had the breakthrough, and I think it's like after Elvis was on the Ed Sullivan show. Is that the Ed Sullivan show? I'm not. Don't quote me on this, but I want to read what BB had to say about his good friend Elvis. BB King. Elvis was an influence on everyone. All right, we're gonna read this. All right, hey man, we're gonna read what BB had to say, man. Bill Street Blues Boy, Bill Street, whatever, Bill Street Blues Boy, something like that, man. Hey man, we're gonna read this, man. I was barely 11 years old when one of the greatest influences of my life, Robert Johnson, was recording just across the street from this majestic theater, recording his first ever songs at the Gunter Hotel in San Antonio. And that had a lot to do with where I am today. Now, I'm quoting something from an article that BB was interviewed by somebody in San Antonio where Robert Johnson recorded his immortal music. Robert Johnson died at 27, remember the 27 Club, and he recorded a little bit over 20 songs. And this is like the foundation of what became known as rock and roll in so many ways. But this is like an interview he did with Jack Dennis of the San Antonio Examiner. All right. So that way, I guess he's sitting down talking about his reminiscences, but he was in San Antonio. I went to San Antonio, interesting place. Black folks are only in one part of San Antonio. You know, like everything else is just you thought you was in Mexico. But that's anyway. Johnson came from the same dirt Elvis and so many of us did. It was the world of sharecropping, and to survive that hard work bending over all day long, there will be plenty of singing. Elvis's mama and daddy did their share of it, both the picking and the singing. It was called survival. It was called life. It was just as important to us as water. It was as important to those of us who had it in our souls as the water. The other big influence was Jimmy Rogers. Some people want to say he was the father of country music, but like Elvis, he was more than that. He was a big influence, not just on me. I used to listen to my aunt's records of Jimmy Rogers, and that was a real treat. I liked that Mississippi Delta blues and to listen to him yole, ole, ole. That's yodeling. I'm sorry. I never did yole, ole, ole. But Jimmy Rogers could show yole, ole, ole. He was very good at it. But yes, he influenced more than country music. He influenced Howlin' Wolf and Muddy Waters as much as he did Merle Haggard or Willie Nelson. See, Elvis did that too, but only much wider. Elvis influenced everybody's music, and it was for the good of us all. Now, where did Jimmy Rogers learn his music from? He learned it working alongside the black railroad workers and hobos. Elvis lived and played with black children back in Tupelo, Mississippi. He told me that when he was just a baby and his mama had to work, he was cared for sometimes by his grandmama, but mostly by a neighbor black lady. Okay, this is from an interview he did with the San Antonio Examiner. That's B.B. King. But also, I want to read something that B.B. King said as well. In addition to that, guys, I was like, I'm gonna give y'all the pros and cons of it. And like this Elvis thing, as far as related to the black musician, is complicated. It's simple in some parts, but it's complicated. And what I mean by simple, simple don't mean it. Simple does not mean easy. Simple and easy are two different things. They have two different meanings. But I want to share also what B.B. King had to say. Uh, Another clip. You actually go on Elvis Presley's website, official website, I think, and get a lot of these quotes from entertainers and other people, their thoughts about Elvis and his legacy. It's quite interesting to read, but for the sake of time, I'm trying to keep this thing under 2 hours if I can. I'm just going to go through a little bit and let y'all find the rest. Okay? Is that fair, y'all? I think it's fair. I think it's very much fair. As a matter of fact, yep. It's a lot to look at, man. A lot to take in. I call myself saving notes and stuff. It's hard. I keep a lot of stuff. I need an assistant. He's about to help me organize my thoughts and my stuff. You know, funny, I can take care of other people's stuff. I can't get my stuff organized like I want. But God is good. People think I have it all together. I don't. I just have a lot of things all around me. I try to grab them and try to make sense of things. And time go by so fast. I don't know for y'all, but time really goes by fast for me. So God is good nonetheless. Gonna keep this moving, man. Gonna keep it moving and grooving. You hear me? Let's see. That was an interesting dude, man. I'm trying to find what I did with that stuff. I had all this stuff saved and trying to find it now. And that is it. Yeah, B.B. King said this about Elvis. Now I found it. He said Elvis didn't steal any music from anyone. He just had his own interpretation of the music he grown up on. Same is true for everyone. I think Elvis had integrity. Now this is BB King saying this. Now I know BB King, like I said, he been messed over by some folks in the music biz. He talked about the Bahari brothers and all this stuff, stealing his music and not giving him credit where credit is due. But he said that about his friend Elvis, right? Okay, let's see. Is there any more BB Kings there? Okay, well, this is nothing BB King said. He said, I remember Elvis as a young man hanging around the Sun Studios. Even then, I knew this kid had a tremendous talent. He was a dynamic young boy. His phraseology, his way of looking at a song was as unique as Sinatra's. And, B.B. King was a huge fan of Frank Sinatra. Though people don't know, B.B. King loved him some old blue eyes. Just like, I believe, Bobby Blue Bland, arguably the greatest blues singer of all time. He was so smooth with it. I met Bobby Blue Bland, but I think his favorite singer was Perry Como. Just like with Robert Johnson, his favorite singer was Bing Crosby. See, ain't that funny? Y'all got these stereotypes of these musicians, like especially if you're a blues musician. People got this thing where you guys ain't sophisticated. They down home. They wearing overalls and dirty denims and stuff like that, and drinking moonshine. Nah, these cats believe in dressing up. You see how BB King dressed up? BB dressed up. Muddy Waters wore suits and stuff. Even Holland Wolf wore tux and suits and stuff like that. The stereotype then what they listened to, because when you was a musician back then, you're not just a blues musician. You want to make a living, you had to know what was popular on the radio. So a lot of them blues guys would listen to the radio to see what was popular. They learned their music so they could play. When people say I want to play so and so, they could play without no problem. They wasn't just playing; they had to be versatile. So what I'm saying is, like with Frank Sinatra, I mean, the fact that BB King listened to Frank Sinatra, you can see that if you listen to BB King singing, you can tell he really pays attention to how he phrase and how he flip a word or whatever. He's good at that. And Bobby Blue Bland took it to the next level. I mean, Blue Bland, he got to be the greatest blues male singer of all time, arguably. But he used to listen to Perry Como. And I said Robert Johnson used to listen to Bing Crosby. And they said that was his favorite singer. But anyway, I just want to add that in there. But also, I was a tremendous fan of what he said. Let me read that part. He said he was a dynamic young boy. His phraseology, his way of looking at a song was as unique as Sinatra's. I was a tremendous fan, and had Elvis lived, there would have been no end to his inventiveness. See, Elvis, like he was into gospel music. Elvis was into gospel music. That's what B.B. King said about Elvis, his friend. But Elvis used to go on Sundays to Reverend Dr. William H. Brewster's church in South Memphis, East Trigg Avenue Church, East Trigg, I believe, Avenue Baptist Church. But East Trigg, it was called East Trigg. It still exists, but it's in a new building now, next to the old building where Elvis used to go with his good friend George Klein to listen to Dr. Brewster and his choir, his amazing choir. Dr. Brewster was a prolific songwriter. He wrote Move On Up a Little Higher and some other great music that he don't get credit for. Move On Up a Little Higher was made popular by his protege, Mahalia Jackson. It became one of gospel music's first million sellers. And Dr. Brewster was an amazing man, amazing musician, communicator, and stuff like that. And also in his choir was the great Queen C. Anderson, who some people believe had an even more powerful voice than Mahalia Jackson. And there's not a lot of Queen C. Anderson music online, but you can find it. And she's actually not buried too far away from Dr. Brewster in New Park. I think New Park Memorial Cemetery. I think it's called New Park. So Johnny Ace and Booker Little and some other greats are buried there too. But Elvis used to go there on Sundays and listen to them sing. And Elvis never stopped loving the gospel. We're going to talk a little bit about that later on as well too. But Dr. Brewster, a black man, was Elvis's favorite minister. So I mean, this stuff that I'm just doing this show, I think it's important to know and give credit where credit is due. And because Elvis didn't happen in no vacuum. Like I said, Elvis, it's interesting about Elvis, right? Make this point. Elvis was born January the 8th, right? They say he's the king of rock and roll. R. Kelly was born January the 8th, 1967. As far as I'm concerned, he's the king of R&B. You know, R. Kelly is the king of R&B. Elvis is the king of rock and roll. Both born on January the 8th. Elvis died August 16th. Babe Ruth died August 16th. The king of baseball, Robert Johnson, died August 16th. King of the Delta Blues singers, whatever we want to call. But they gave him the king of this after he was dead, though. He was no king. He was the king when he was alive. Nobody hardly knew who Robert Johnson was. Nobody hardly knew him. I mean, he died. They didn't make no big mention about Robert Johnson dying. You know, matter of fact, when I think about it, a dude that Robert Johnson sounded like a lot like was a guy named Petey Wheatstraw. Went by the High Sheriff of Hell, the Devil's Son-in-Law. You know, Gangsta Boo. She called herself the Devil's Daughter when she was doing the 3-6 stuff back in the day. And he and Petey Wheatstraw called himself the High Sheriff of Hell, the Devil's Son-in-Law. You know, we think about Petey Wheatstraw. We're not thinking about a blues singer from Tennessee and Arkansas. We're thinking about a character that Dolomite or Rudy Ray Moore created back in the day in the 70s called Petey Wheatstraw, who was also some type of devil connected stuff going on. If you look at the movie Petey Wheatstraw movie that Rudy Ray Moore did back in the day. But I'm sure he got that from the blues singer Petey Wheatstraw, who died on his birthday at 39 years old. He was on a beer run with some of his friends and then ran into a train that was not moving. They ran into this, standing train, and I think everybody died. Everybody got killed, man. He was just 39 years old, but when Petey Wheatstraw died, it made national news. I mean, even Billboard, whatever, the music industry took notice of the passing of Petey Wheatstraw. Listen to Petey Wheatstraw and listen to Robert Johnson. He sounded alike. It's almost like Ronald Isley and Al Green kind of sound alike, but they don't sound alike, but they kind of sound alike. Same thing with Petey Wheatstraw and Robert Johnson. They sound alike, but maybe you can tell the difference, but maybe you can't. It's like Sonny Stitt and Charlie Parker. They sound alike on saxophone. Maybe you can't tell the difference, maybe you can't. I don't know. You say butter, I say parquet. You know, you say Clay, I say Ali or something. I don't know. The same difference, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. Is it? But Petey Wheatstraw, when he died at 39 under them crazy circumstances, it made national headlines. Robert Johnson passed under questionable circumstances on August 16th, 1938. It barely made, nobody know. I mean, John Hammond, the guy who produced and discovered the likes of Count Basie, Billie Holiday, Bruce Springsteen, and Aretha Franklin, and so many other people, he was looking for Robert Johnson to perform in his Spiritual to Swing concert at the Carnegie Hall. He actually sent somebody down south to look for Robert Johnson, and they found out he was dead. So he ended up playing Robert Johnson's music on a record player on the stage. That's what John Hammond did for Robert Johnson. But Robert Johnson didn't become the Robert Johnson that we know until the 60s, when all these British rock and roll people like Eric Clapton and Keith Richards and so many of them, they started listening to Robert Johnson's music and made him popular. So it took him decades after he died at 27 to get the recognition he never got when he was alive. So that's what I'm saying. Who's telling these stories? Who's writing these scripts? That's why I'm saying what I'm saying to say. So Elvis, they say he was into the occult, you know, into mystery, like Rob Johnson. They said Rob Johnson made a deal with the devil at the crossroads in Clarksdale, whatever, and he learned how to play actually the guitar. He had a good teacher named Ike Zimmerman, and they used to practice in the cemetery. From my understanding, he used to practice at night in the cemetery. That's how he learned how to play his guitar. Robert Johnson's a guitarist like me. He was born May the 8th, 1911. But he was into the dark side, I guess. And you look at a picture of Robert Johnson, like the one we know of him, because there's so many people saying this is a photo of Robert Johnson. You know, he got one eye bigger than the other. Then you look at his fingers; they are unusually long. He got long, slim fingers, and that would make it great how he played, because when he recorded, people thought it was two guitar players playing. But I guess because the way he recorded, they recorded him whatever how the sound was bouncing off the wall, whatever. And also he had them real long fingers where he could just go places that other folks couldn't go. His fingers spread out. He had big, long fingers. Anyway, let me say what Big Mama Thornton said. The sister that played Big Mama Thornton in the biopic that came out last year, she passed away unfortunately this past summer. Sending love and blessings to her and her family, amplified blessings and love to that sister who passed away unexpectedly. She was riding the wave of the Elvis thing, and she did that. She did the soundtrack with Doja Cat. So I don't know, man. Was she a sacrifice? I don't know. But let me see what else. I want to say what Big Mama Thornton thought about Elvis, right? She said, I guess she was talking about the hound dog. Somebody asked about the hound dog. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. She sung it first. But Elvis made him rich, right? She said, the record I made Elvis Presley rich on. A song I got robbed of. I got one check for $500 and never saw another. Now, $500 back then was a lot of money. And $500, even in these crazy inflated times, that's a lot of money for somebody because Lord knows that's gas money or whatever, whatever they're gonna be. $500 don't get you that far today like it did back then. But she only got one check for $500 and never saw another, according to her. So Elvis just took that and made his own. But they look like the song "Respect." Well, Aretha did another, person from Memphis. Aretha died on August 16th. So you got Elvis died on August 16th. August 16th, the king of rock and roll. Babe Ruth died on August 16th, the king of baseball. Robert Johnson died on August 16th, the king of Delta blues. And then Aretha Franklin, the queen of soul, dies on August 16th. So you got like 3 people out of the 4 connected to Memphis. Aretha was born here. Elvis grew up in Memphis, came of age, got discovered in Memphis. Robert Johnson, his folks lived in Memphis. They got ran out of Mississippi. His stepfather had a bunch of land down in Mississippi, but these Italians ran him out of Mississippi, took his land and everything. Got ran to Memphis with his family. Matter of fact, Robert Johnson's stepsister came out with a book about her brother not too long ago, about a famous stepbrother. Book came out when she was in the 90s. I don't know if she's still around, but it came out before the pandemic, I think. And the co-writer, guy named Preston Lauterbach, who used to write for the Memphis Flyer. I know Preston. He wrote the book about the Chitlin Circuit. He wrote a book about Withers. He wrote a book about Robert Church, who started his dynasty by owning houses of prostitution. He, the guy, was the first black millionaire of the South that saved Memphis when it lost his city charter because of the yellow fever epidemic. Survived the Memphis Race Massacre of 1866. He got shot in his head point blank in his own saloon on Beale Street. Survived to testify before Congress. This inspired Congress to create the Reconstruction era. So Robert Church, first black millionaire of the South, made his fortune by controlling houses of ill repute. Oh man, interesting, ain't it? And he was a benefactor of Ida B. Wells, who used to live in Memphis. But I don't know why I brought up Robert Church. But anyway, I'm just all over the place, right? But I was saying, like, the people died August 16th. You got 3 of them connected to Memphis. Memphis connected, so that's interesting, including Elvis. And they're all known by these honorific titles of royalty, right? Of American cultural royalty. So I want to say Little Richard, Richard Penniman, that's his name. So I'm not looking all this up, man. I'm just trying to get through this because I'm not trying to just get through it, but trying to make a point here. I think it's important to show because I kept on trying to go live, and I just having all types of headaches. It's Mercury retrograde, Jesus. All the Mercury retrogrades I've been in so far have been classic episodes of Mercury retrograde. I cannot complain about that. I gotta have the patience and faith of Job just getting through here, but I'm gonna get through this because whatever I'm saying, I've got to tell y'all. It's too important just to lay dormant inside of me. I could do more good by being out there with you all, and y'all be the judges of what to do with the information, right? That's how I look at it basically right now at this point in the age, you know. Um, who else I want to say? I got my notes here. Got the notes, folks. It's a Little Richard. Little Richard's like a yin yang. It's kind of weird. Little Richard, he gives the pros and cons of Elvis, and you know, Little Richard don't get the credit he deserves like he should, right? But I used to think about Little Richard. I said, this man is a braggart. He's full of himself. He said, I invented rock and roll. Ooh, I invented. I'm the architect of rock and roll. Ooh, 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 tutti frutti, tutti frutti. From the rooter to the tutor to the fruity. But he actually is a founding father of the genre. And he had to let y'all know. And now I get it. Because if he didn't let people know, nobody will ever know to give credit where credit is due. Little Richard probably, they say he's the first person to have panties thrown at him on stage. Like Chris Brown be having bras and panties. He was the first to have that happen to him. They say it happened at a concert in Baltimore back in the day. That women started throwing panties on the stage for Richard Penniman. Little Richard. Ooh, ooh, ooh. he said, if Elvis been a black, he wouldn't have been as big as he was. If I was white, do you know how huge I'll be? If I was white, I'd be able to sit on top of the White House. A lot of things they would do for Elvis and Pat Boone, they wouldn't do for me. And, you know, that's nothing about Little Richard. He telling the truth. Did Little Richard ever get a Presidential Medal of Freedom? I mean, Barack Obama could have gave Little Richard a Presidential Medal of Freedom, couldn't he? Trump gave his people. Trump gave Elvis one. Elvis been dead for how long? And when Trump gave Elvis a Presidential Medal of Freedom, come on, man. Little Richard, man. Everybody run through Little Richard, man. Black and white. Everybody go through Little Richard. James Brown, Otis Redding, Bob Dylan, the Beatles, Rolling Stones, Elvis. Everybody run through Little Richard, man. Everybody. So this is also what Little Richard said. He said, I love him. That's my buddy, my baby. Elvis is one of the greatest performers who ever lived in this world. Little Richard. Ooh, Little Richard. Little Richard also had Jimi Hendrix in his band as a backup guitarist. But he fired Jimi Hendrix because Jimi Hendrix was still in his shine. But he claimed him after he became famous, though. Yeah, I knew Jimmy. Yeah, I made Jimmy. You're a proud father then. But Jimmy was upstaging you in the background. You didn't like that. But yeah, Little Richard, man, give the man his respect. For sure. Now, this is what Al Green said about Elvis. One of the things he said, Elvis had an influence on everybody with his musical approach. He broke the ice for all of us. Now, that's what your boy Al Green. Hey, hey, love and happiness. Hey. Now, he got a church, Full Gospel Tabernacle out in Black Haven, Whitehaven, near Graceland. And, we need to give him his flowers for all that great baby making music he made and giving himself to the Lord for over 40 plus years as the Right Reverend Al Green. I went to his church a handful of times, and what's interesting is that it's more of them than us in the church. And I mean by them is like people from out of the country. You got folks from China and Italy and Russia, France, Japan, Korea. They all coming to see Al Green. You got folks that live in Memphis that never been to the church at all. And I was blessed to be able to acknowledge him, give him his flowers. I had a chance to see Al Green perform some years ago at we call it outside show at the Botanical Gardens. I was sweating like a pig, boy. I also saw Diana Ross that summer as well too. They had a great concert series that summer. I think it was the Memphis Botanical Garden outside, but Al Green did his thing. Diana Ross did her thing. But to be able to acknowledge Al, give him his flowers, that was cool. And y'all can do that. He be at his church mostly every Sunday. And he'll be preaching a little bit, but you come there hoping like, Lord and Jesus Christ. You turn love and happiness to Lord and Jesus Christ. Hey, hey, hey. Lord, Lord Jesus Christ, baby. Woo, woo, woo. Okay, but anyway, but yeah, we still got Al Green. He's a national treasure. But he thought highly of Elvis, right? Does it surprise you how some of the people thought about Elvis? Oh, Isaac Hayes, another icon, Black Moses. Elvis is iconic. A lot of performers today look to that for inspiration. Oh, wait a minute. I'm getting ahead of myself. That was Beyonce. Go back to Isaac. Elvis was a giant and influenced everyone in the business. That's Isaac Hayes, Black Moses. Then Beyonce said Elvis is iconic. A lot of performers today look to that for inspiration. That's Beyonce. Say. All right. So Jackie Wilson. Like I told y'all, I read Jackie Wilson. His favorite entertainer was Al Jolson, the guy, the Jewish guy that wore blackface to do the first talking. Man. They said Jackie Wilson loved him to Al Jolson. He thought he was the greatest entertainer. I didn't say this, so don't get mad at me. Just look it up. I don't know, man. Like I said, I'm trying to show y'all how weird it is that people think that this huge schism between Elvis and black people, and the black entertainers had a lot of respect for Elvis. His peers. I ain't talking about, whatever. Even Beyonce, she wasn't his peer. She wasn't even around. You know. Read what Jackie Wilson had to say. He said, a lot of people have accused Elvis of stealing the black man's music when in fact, almost every black solo entertainer copy his stage mannerisms from Elvis. Now, Jackie Wilson sound like Akon right now. Ain't he sound like Akon from the grave? May he rest in peace. Jackie Wilson sound like Akon, ain't? I'm just playing, but that was Jackie. A lot of people have accused Elvis of stealing the black man's music, when in fact almost every black solo entertainer copied his stage mannerisms from Elvis. It's Jackie Wilson saying that, y'all. Yes, y'all. D. Jackie Wilson, Mr. Excitement, Lonely Teardrops. That guy. My heart won't ever soul, lonely teardrops. Your love lift me higher. Yeah, that's Jackie Wilson. All right. Now I'm gonna say some people that may surprise y'all. Eddie Murphy. Yeah, that Eddie Murphy, not the white Eddie Murphy, but Eddie Murphy, raw Eddie Murphy. That Eddie Murphy. This is what Eddie Murphy had to say about Elvis. He said, "That's my idol, Elvis Presley. If you went to my house, you see pictures all over of Elvis. He's just the greatest entertainer that ever lived. And I think it's because he had such presence. When Elvis walked into a room, Elvis Presley was in the effing room. I don't give a F who was in the room with him. Bogart, Marilyn Monroe. Now, Eddie was around with Bogart and Marilyn Monroe. How does he know that? Elvis do transcends well across the screen, the big screen. He could have been a big time, really. He could have been a movie star on the level of a Marlon Brando and a James Dean, but his manager put him in little weird movies, whatever he did. I don't know. But Elvis, he wanted to be respected as a serious actor, as artist, like a James Dean or Marlon Brando. But he was never given a chance. But you could see, flashes of brilliance in his performances. And he would have had his chance if he didn't die so soon. He actually was cast to be in that movie, A Star is Born, with Barbra Streisand, but I think Chris Christopherson took his place. And they alluded to that in the movie, in the biopic that came out last year. Okay, but Eddie Murphy, yeah, our Eddie Murphy, the one we love, that Eddie Murphy, that boy good, that Eddie Murphy. She's so queen to be. A Soul Glow, Eddie Murphy coming to America, Beverly Hills Cop, Saturday Night Live. Eddie, ready for Eddie Animal. That Eddie Murphy said that about Elvis. Okay? Okay. I know I'm just being silly, but it's late. But I just want to make sure I get this out. And I always rest later. Now I'm gonna tell y'all another one that might shock y'all. They said this about Elvis. Uh, 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 uh. This is James Brown, the Godfather of soul. This is what he had to say about my soul brother from another mother. Okay, he said, I wasn't just a fan. I was his brother. He said I was good, and I said he was good. We never argue about that. Elvis was a hard worker, dedicated, and God loved him. He said God loved him. Last time I saw him was at Graceland. We sang Old Blind Barnabas together, a gospel song. I love him, and I hope to see him in heaven. There'll never be another like that soul brother. That's James Brown. Say it loud. You know, when he said say it loud, he didn't say I'm black, I'm proud. He told y'all to say it loud. James didn't say it. He told y'all to say that. Soul brother. I love James Brown, but I'm trying to show y'all this. I mean, yeah, I saw that Ray Charles interview he did with Bob Costas, and I have no problem with what Ray Charles said. He stood on some truth. Ray Charles don't give a damn about impressing nobody because he blind. He just got to feel some risk. He know what he doing. He's slipping and sliding. Long as he feel them risks, but he told, and he said what he said. And a lot of folks feel like that. And Elvis, like I said, I'm not the biggest Elvis fan. I listen to Elvis from time to time. I love Sam Cooke. I love Tupac. Listen to them a lot. Listen to Marvin Gaye. I love Marvin Gaye. I don't really listen to no Elvis, but I don't have no problem with Elvis. I don't have this thing against Elvis. If you're going to be critical of Elvis, be critical on the right things when it relates to Elvis, not be triggered because the white people want to make him the king. And the thing about Elvis is I keep on going all over the place, but not because I'm going over all over the places because so much information. I'm trying to tell you all to purvey, or is it purvey, or to explain or explain. But he was born January 8th, like R. Kelly, the king of R&B, as far as I'm concerned. August 16th, death date, famous Royal American cultural royalty, Babe Ruth, Aretha Franklin, Robert Johnson, they all share that death date of August 16th. His daughter, Lisa Marie, used to be the wife of Michael Jackson, the king of pop. Now, Michael was a phenomenon. White folks didn't know what to do with Michael, and he didn't know what to do with himself. And why it ended up the way it ended up. But Michael was he's king of pop, man. Michael was phenomenal. There's no person like a Michael Jackson, but his father-in-law was Elvis Presley. So I mean, y'all want to knock Elvis all you want to. Something about that guy, and he is a life path 9. And we life path 9 with love to shine, man. I'll tell you some other life path 9s. I said Richard Pryor was a life path 9, right? Jimi Hendrix was a life path 9. That means I gotta go a little bit higher, man. I gotta start setting some goals here, man. These guys, they did some amazing things. Oh, Jimmy James, Jimi Hendrix. Are you experienced, man? Jimi Hendrix even died at 27. 2 plus 7 is 9. So he was a life path 9, died at 27. Interesting. Elvis was a life path 9. Richard Pryor, life path 9. If you say how you get your life path, you add up your birth date. You add up all the numbers in your birth date. That's how you get your life path number. And I mean, I have not always been into all this type of stuff. It's because dealing with certain type of women, and I know these women, they be into this stuff and they be crazy. And I said, let me figure this out for my own. Then you start figuring this stuff out. You say, oh, this is why we don't get along. This is why so and so is like this. And it helped me a lot, with this stuff, like dealing with people, like even working on a job when I'm a supervisor, dealing with different type of personalities. Now you figure, okay, well, so and so's a Virgo, they're a Gemini, they're a Sagittarius. Da, da, da. Not saying that everybody's cookie cutter personality, but I'm saying it helps to understand numerology, to understand astrology, to understand life path numbers and all this stuff. It's information. Information can help information can help leverage some things for you in your life. I almost feel sorry for folks that want to be willfully ignorant. 'Cause you're missing out. Now, it could be a burden. I ain't gonna lie. Knowledge is a burden. But if you want to share it, relieve yourself the burden by sharing what you know. So, let's see. I read all the quotes I want to read outside of what now. Oh yeah, I'm gonna read Sammy Candyman. The Candyman loved him some Elvis. Candyman, boing boing boing, boing boing boing, baby. The Candyman. I'm the Candyman. Okay, Sammy loved him some Elvis, man. I'm gonna read what Sammy had to say about his friend, his dear friend, down home friend, Elvis Presley. Read what Sammy. I used to love Sammy Davis Jr. Man, he was amazing. If he was white, he would have been bigger than Sinatra. And to me, he's still bigger than Sinatra. I love Sinatra singing, but Sammy, I mean, he just said how the system do us, man. But Sammy was an amazing artist, excelled at everything, man. And his life path number is one or was one, and really ones are known for being perfectionists. And Sammy was definitely that. Even with one eye, he was amazing. He was extraordinary. But what did our good pal Sammy Man had to say? Candyman. What did the Candyman had to say about the one and only Elvis? Oh, I'm all shook up. Oh. I think Elvis' hair originally was blonde, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Y'all look that up. I think he was dyeing his hair black. Also, I think his mom was black. 'Cause I know you read about the background of his people. They'll say his mom was Scots Irish and had French blood, whatever. And then his folks would say, well, his mama had Cherokee in her family too. Elvis, like a Malungan, I think Elvis was black. I really do think Elvis was passing, or his mom was keeping a secret. You know what I'm saying? That she didn't tell her son. Just look at pictures of his mama, how she looked. She's probably high yellow, Otteron, mulatto, whatever. But they said they had Cherokee in their family. Native Americans. We know a lot of so-called black folks Native American, but you know how they do it. This country's so messed up, how they label people and stuff like that. But I believe Elvis had a little bit of that stuff in him. I do believe that. But I want to read what Sammy had to say about his friend Elvis. Elvis Presley. Okay. Okay. I have respect for Elvis and my friendship. It ain't my business what he did in private. The only thing I want to know is, was he my friend? Did I enjoy him as a performer? Did he give the world of entertainment something? And the answer is yes on all accounts. The other jazz just don't matter. Early on, somebody told me that Elvis was black. I said, no, he's white, but he's down home. Down home, bang, boing, boing, boing. And that is what it's all about. Not being black, not or white, it's being down home. And which part of down home you come from. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would rate Elvis 11. 11. Shaboing, boing, boing. I'm out of shaboing, boing, boings, okay? Whatever. But that's what he thought. This is Sammy Davis Jr. in his own words when he thought about his friend Elvis. Then somebody else said, one of Elvis's, part of his, I guess, Memphis Mafia crew. I think it's part of the Memphis Mafia. Yeah, Joe Esposito, he was part of Memphis Mafia. Elvis crew. Sammy was in the audience on opening night when Elvis made his stage comeback at the International Hotel in Las Vegas on July 31st, 1969. After the show, Davis went backstage to congratulate Elvis. Sammy gave Elvis a big hug and told him how great he was, recalled Joe Esposito. His enthusiasm, along with that of many other celebrities, made Elvis incredibly happy, noted Joe in a later interview. Sammy declared, man, I've been performing in Vegas for almost since Vegas opened, and I have never ever seen somebody fill a 2,000-seat room. Davis would attend most every Presley opening in Las Vegas in the 70s. Wow. According to Esposito, Elvis got a great audience reaction from Sammy, who was always jumping up and down in his chair, applauding wildly and shouting encouragement. During one Vegas show in 1970, Elvis took off his 52 karat black star sapphire ring and gave it to Sammy. Wow. Sammy gave up his eye and he got a 52 karat black star sapphire ring later on. You see how it works? Wow. And so I got this good information from you follow this page called Guitar Man. He writes some excellent posts. He makes excellent posts about Elvis. I learned something from that guy's whoever doing it, Guitar Man on Facebook. So this is like excerpts I read. The Sammy Davis Jr. thing come from that. Then you got to think about also the greatest loved Elvis. The greatest, Muhammad Ali. Down go Frazier. Down go Frazier. That Muhammad Ali. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali loved Elvis. They were great friends. And I didn't know that until like a couple days ago. Wow. And so why they don't never talk about that? Muhammad Ali, the same guy who Nation of Islam, Muhammad Ali. That Muhammad, the white man devil, Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X was his spiritual advisor, Muhammad Ali. That Muhammad Ali loved him some Elvis Presley. Wow. I'm gonna read some stuff. You see the photograph that I had with Elvis. They in the fighting pose. He was in the fighting pose. Ali in his fighting pose, and it's mutual respect society there, man. You know, they both Capricorns. Ali's birthday, I believe, is on January the 17th. Don't quote me on that, but he's a Capricorn. Elvis a Capricorn. So man, they part of the same tribe. And I'm gonna just read some stuff I got from Guitar Man about Elvis, his thoughts and all this other stuff. Um, yeah. When Muhammad Ali called Elvis Presley the greatest, there was one person besides himself who Ali also called the greatest. The king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley. Ali was a huge Elvis fan. In the 1970s, when asked who his favorite singer was, Ali said that Presley was his second favorite, only to Sam Cooke. Sam Cooke was a good friend of Ali. You know, Sam Cooke actually recorded Ali singing. You know, there's footage of Ali and Sam Cooke singing, but Ali actually was real close to Sam Cooke. You know, Sam Cooke was at his fight. You know that movie they did, that One Night in Miami movie. I think Regina King directed it with Muhammad Ali, Sam Cooke, Malcolm X, and Jim Brown all stayed at a hotel for one night, and it was like something that they dramatized. And the only person still alive is Jim Brown, and I haven't heard anything about Jim Brown saying that it was inaccurate or whatever. He didn't say nothing. Jim Brown ain't saying too much of anything. Last time I saw Jim Brown, or somebody referenced Jim Brown, was when he visited Trump, when Trump first got elected at Trump Tower, I believe, with Kanye West, I think. But much respect to the legend, Jim Brown. But I read some more of what Ali said. When I was 15 years old and I saw Elvis on TV, I wanted to be Elvis, recalled Ali to his friend, Tim Shanahan, author of Running with the Champ. Other kids in the neighborhood would listen to Ray Charles and James Brown, but I listened to Elvis. I admired him so much, and I decided if I was going to be famous, I'd do it just like him. He's one of the reasons I wanted to entertain people and be loved by people and make the girls admire me so much. They had a thing for them girls. As a young teenager, Ali was influenced watching Elvis become successful during his breakthrough year of 1956. He was particularly impacted when Elvis followed through on his promise to buy his mother a car and a house when he became rich. You know, you look at Elvis and Ali, it makes sense that they'll like each other. They're larger than life. Look how they look. They're very charisma. They got unique heads. You know, Ali was just made. He was just sculpted for that moment. He was made for that moment. Elvis was made for that moment. It's mutual respect, appreciation society. So I can see how they could get along and see each other, because nobody knows what it's like to be those guys on that level. It's like being Michael Jackson. You don't know what it is to be Michael Jackson, to be that famous, to be that revered, to be that reviled. Is it reviled? If I'm making words, is it reviled? Is reviled a word? Man, I be getting my little flow thing, man. I don't know, man. I'm just giving y'all a show. I'm trying to say, how can I cut this down? Okay, definitely Ali. I mean, he was. They want to call him a draft dodger, but he's a conscientious objector, and he's an American hero. He's a legend, like Elvis. He's a legend. You can't take that from Ali, man. Love Ali. Hey, but that's what he thought about Elvis. I mean, y'all shocked that Ali would think this about Elvis, the greatest? That Ali? No Bill could never call me Igga Ali. But if people claim that Elvis said the only thing black folks can do for me is shine my shoes, I don't believe that. The BB King and all them guys, why they love this guy, Sammy Davis. Sammy Davis went through a lot of stuff with discrimination, and dealing with racism and white supremacy in this country and beyond. What would do him? What good would do him talk about Elvis? Elvis performing in a place where, Vegas back in the day, if a black person was caught swimming in a swimming pool, they would drain the pool. They would not allow like headline acts like a Duke Ellington, whoever, to walk through the front door, let alone stay at the hotel. This is the type of Vegas that Sammy Davis had to endure. So why we got away singing the praises of a son of the South if Elvis wasn't a decent and fair guy? Even like Ike Turner and Elvis were good friends, because they all started as Sun. Because like the reason for Sun Studios, they were trying to record black musicians like Muddy Waters and Holly Wolf and Ike Turner or Jackie Brenston. They wasn't trying to record no Elvis or Roy Orbison or no Johnny Cash. But it came along later. But Sun Studios was starting to record black acts. But Elvis was a white dude who sounded black and could move like a black dude. So he looked kind of like Jackie Wilson. He did but Jackie gave Elvis his props. So I don't know, man. Y'all keep on. But with Noni Harris, that was a G. But I know Phineas Newborn. He called him Phineas, whatever, Newborn, great jazz piano player from Memphis. His brother Calvin Newborn, I met him. Calvin was a great guitarist and all that performer. My understanding that Elvis used to watch Calvin King perform at the Plantation Inn, I believe, over in Arkansas. That we got some of his moves and stuff from watching Calvin Newborn. I say Calvin King, I mean Calvin Newborn. And he passed on not too long ago, but Calvin Newborn used to play for Ray Charles, and I remember I recorded him. He talking about how, cause I asked him, was it true that Ray Charles flew his own plane? He said, yeah, it was true. He said, matter of fact, when I get on a plane with Charles, I would try to get some alcohol, some pills, or something like that to get knocked out. I didn't want to be up while he was flying the plane. So I actually got him recorded saying that when I met him, but he passed on, I think, in December 2019 down in Florida. That's Calvin Newborn, the brother of Phineas Newborn, or Phineas Newborn, great jazz piano titan, who also was one of the inspirations for Elvis Presley. That's how he learned his stage presence and all that stuff, studying the black Calvin Newborn of the famous Newborn music family. What else? So get back to Ali thing. Said a couple things. Okay, yeah, the picture like with the robe on, Ali and Elvis. Ali said he really liked the way Elvis dressed, explained Presley's friend George Klein. He said they were both originals, so Elvis contacted his designer and ordered a robe made for Ali and presented it to him. It said the people's choice. It was supposed to say the people's champ, but Ali wore it anyway. Howard Cosell asked Ali, where did you get that beautiful robe? Ali told him, Elvis gave it to me. Where did you get that beautiful robe? Ali told him, Elvis gave it to me. Presley and Ali remained friends until Elvis's death in 1977. Ali recalled that when they met in Las Vegas in '73, Elvis was closing his February concert run there and had invited Ali to drive back to Los Angeles with him in his gold-plated Cadillac station wagon. Ali wanted to, but had plans to return to Louisville instead. Years later, he regretted that decision. Man, that would have been historic, Ali said. I always wanted Elvis to drive me down Beale Street in a convertible, so his whole town could see that Muhammad Ali and Elvis Presley were good friends. Then I'd bring him to Louisville and do the same thing. Man, you hear that? That's the greatest. That's the GOAT. Singing high praises of Elvis. Yeah, that would have been, that man made for a great movie. The Road Trip. They'll call them the Road Trip. That'd be like the real, oh my God, that would have been amazing. Ali and Elvis on a road trip. Cause I drove that route a couple times. Like when I visited Los Angeles twice, and I went to Vegas twice. And I drove from L.A. to Vegas and Vegas back to L.A. twice, and that's an amazing trip, man. But the hell, like to be in the car with Elvis and Ali on a trip like that, and that would have been a movie. That'd been a great book. That'd been a great movie. I mean, can you imagine them guys? Oh my God. Wow, but that's Ali, man. That's Ali. He actually spoke at the commemoration on Elvis Week when that week in August, because Elvis died August 16th. He was actually like a keynote speaker for Elvis Week back on I think August 16th, '85 in Memphis at Graceland. And Guitar Man talked about that. I'm trying to see if I can find it. He was invited to speak for Elvis. I mean, that's how. I mean, all this black folks don't care for Elvis stuff, and this stuff, man. It's something else, man. Like my mom and them, they loved Elvis Presley growing up. But I'm not trying to cape for no Elvis either. I don't listen to him like that, but I enjoy the man. I mean, he's a cultural icon. He contributed to the life of the country and to the world in his own way. You know, I like to give people their props. I don't care who they are. If you like Tom Brady, Tom Brady's not my favorite football player, but I gotta give him his props, man. He's a hell of a football player. He's a GOAT of his time, man. He can't help what time he played in. I mean, but he doing his thing. I'm trying to see all the posts. I'm trying to see. Okay, Ali spoke at Elvis' funeral, right? Not his funeral, but okay, during Elvis Week, August 16th. This is from Guitar Man on Facebook. During Elvis Week on August 16th, 1985, Muhammad Ali agreed to speak at the annual memorial service for Presley, sponsored every year in Memphis by George Klein. Ali had just been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease in '84, but he won over the crowd of Elvis fans when he sang a few lines a cappella of one of his favorite Presley songs, Don't Be Cruel. Ali then gave a very heartfelt speech about his friend. We black people are kind of funny about music, Ali told the crowd of Elvis fans. We aren't going to follow someone unless they got soul. Little Richard, Chuck Berry, Michael Jackson. But the only white boy that had soul who could sing as good as any of them was Elvis. He had singing ability. He had everything. He was pretty, I know. And when it comes to boxing, nobody has the class, the style, the wit, the speed, the beauty of Ali. And when it comes to singing, nobody had everything like Elvis. I tell the world, Elvis was the greatest of all time. That day Ali visited Graceland, he went to the meditation garden where Presley is buried to pay respects to the friend that he greatly admired. In 1988, Ali donated a robe that Elvis gave him to the Hard Rock Cafe in New York. The robe is on display now at the Muhammad Ali Center in Louisville. So I mean, that's Ali, man. I mean, does it make your head explode to know that the greatest had disrespect for a white man like that? Alleged white man. I think his mama was mixed with something. I really do. I think he got black in him. But no. But anyway, it don't make a difference at this point. But What an interesting life. Then I'm gonna add a little bit more. Talking about Elvis' relationship with black women.
Ask not what we all be can do for you. Ask what you can do for we all be.
Lee Alexander from Carolina. I went to visit in Memphis, Tennessee with some friends of mine, and I said that when I finally got a job there, when I see this limousine coming through and picking this young lady up from the school, and they said it was Elvis Presley's daughter. She was multi-racist, young lady.
Let me get.
And they claimed she was about 10, and they said that was his backup singer, one of his backup singer's daughters. And I witnessed that more than one time. I used to work downtown with a drug division. We make bills and stuff, and we used to go in different exits and come back out different places. And so, when I left there, I left it alone. Then I heard a couple of excerpts I heard that he used to, date, but I couldn't, not date, have a relationship with some of his singers. Which one, I couldn't say. But that was back in 1970, between 70 and 71. If she was 10, you can figure the age up now. Mm-hmm. And you could figure go back 9 or 10 years back, maybe 12, 11 years back. If she was 10, it'd take 9 months for her. You'll figure who was on this group during the period of time.
Now, I heard Elvis Presley, like the old timers, the black folks told me he had a thing for black women, for dark meat.
Yeah.
He said he had a biracial daughter.
Biracial daughter. They told me, God told me, that a very influential guy said that was his daughter. That was Elvis' daughter. That was the limousine picking her up from school and dropping her off.
Now, I'm glad I played that clip from the brother that I met, or my uncle Frenchie, my great uncle, the late great Uncle Frenchie. His neighbor told me that story, was living in Memphis, right? That Elvis had a black daughter, right? That he allegedly had a black daughter that he would take to school, pick her up in a limousine. And Lisa Marie and Priscilla hasn't said anything about this Elvis's black daughter, but Elvis had a thing. He loved women, and he had a thing for black women. He loved black women singing, I guess. He had, a black singing group, the Sweet Inspirations. He was a backup singer, because I tell you, Elvis did gospel. He loved gospel, since the days of him going to Dr. Bruce's church in South Memphis, East Trigg. So, he liked the way black people sing. He liked the way these black women sing. And one of the sisters claimed that Elvis had a thing for her, but she wanted to keep it business. She didn't want to get too into that with Elvis. Sister's name Myrna Smith. I think her name Myrna. Myrna Smith. I'm gonna look her up. I'm gonna put the picture of her with Elvis and the Sweet Inspirations, right? I'm gonna read some things about her and also in her own words. I think it's very important. And this is We All Be, News Free Dixie for the 21st century. I'm just trying to give y'all I couldn't give y'all live. I was having, it's all type of tech issues. Tuesday, January the 10th was going pretty swell. I mean, it started off interesting, but it was on a good note. I mean, a lot of great breakthroughs and not breakdowns. Then I'm trying to do this live, so I'm going to do it for 2 hours live on Tuesday night, January 10th. It wasn't working out. Computer that was cooperating with me last week wasn't trying to cooperate at all. And nobody knows it but me until I told y'all. And We All Be News Free Dixie for the 21st century. But yeah, let me try this, because There must be a reason why I can't get this information now. It must be some important stuff I'm telling you all. I don't know why I want to tell. I don't want. I'm compelled to tell you all this to go through the trouble. I had the faith and patience of Job just to do this, and I'm gonna give it to y'all. I'm gonna give it to you. Da, 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 ooh, 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 ooh. Da, da, da. And this wig is itchy for y'all. It's all for y'all. I'm wearing this crazy wig, crazy thing for you all. It's for y'all. Okay? I'll take this bad boy off. I'm gonna take it off. But this is for y'all. Okay, I'm doing this for you. It's all for you. Oh, 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 oh. I'm all shook up. Oh, 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 oh. Okay. Since my baby left me, found a new place to dwell. So lonely I can die. Ain't found what I'm looking for. Sister Myrna Smith. I think her name Myrna Smith. She was one of the members of the Sweet Inspirations gospel group, his backup singing group, Elvis. Like I said, I've been wanting to do this show for a minute because I was trying to do this as a movie review. I saw the movie Elvis. Like I said, Austin Butler won that. He needed an assist from Denzel. One of his co-actors on a Broadway play, The Iceman Cometh. They both played in the Broadway produced play, The Iceman Cometh by Eugene O'Neill. So Denzel was very impressed by the dude. He cold called the director of the movie Elvis to politic the campaign for Austin getting the part, and Austin got the part. Just won a Golden Globe award last night doing this best Presley impersonation. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Both Life Path 9. Ain't that something? Did Denzel know? There you go. But trying to see if I find an article. hmm Let's look at Myrna Smith online. That's a couple of things that she got out there. Try to find a decent one. Cause she was married to Elvis's one of his close associates, Jerry Schilling, part of his Memphis Mafia. They actually got married in the '80s after Elvis died. One of Elvis's closest friends, Jerry Schilling. He was married to Myrna about 5 years in the '80s, I believe. Trying to see. Trying to find a good article that I could read off of and then do why you know how I be doing it. Did you know this from the EUR web? And it says by Fisher Jack, March 13, 2021. Did you know Elvis Presley had a love Jones for one black woman in particular? That's Myrna Smith. During Elvis Presley's singing, recording, and performing career, one that stretched parts of 3 decades, there were countless stories that he didn't particularly like black people, especially if they were not in music. He did like many well-known black singers, especially according to some music historians, if he could copy and use their vocal and musical stylistics to further his own career. Well, I say, Picasso said, good artists borrow, great artists steal, man. I'm from Memphis, man. We know about that stealing. Stealing, yeah, I rob. Yeah, I steal. Yeah, I put that body in the field. I'm just singing country black. I'm not do that. I'm not a criminal. I'm not a criminal. I'm just singing some country black. Crunchy. So, 3-6 Mafia. The late Myrna Smith, who was a member of the black singing group The Sweet Inspirations, refuted claims that Presley was a racist. Smith, who was with Cissy Houston, mother of the late Whitney Houston, Sylvia Shernwell, and Estelle Brown, formed the Sweet Inspirations. See, Whitney Mom Sissy was in a group that Elvis used. You see all the connections. I keep on thinking Elvis just a normal person. Like y'all just, oh, he's just a white boy copying. Now, who is this Elvis? What's his bloodline? Who is this guy? Think about what I'm saying. Think about the stuff I said in this podcast or whatever, vlogcast, whatever you want to call it. Think about the connect, like January the 8th, him and R. Kelly born January the 8th. I don't know what, if they related or not, I don't know. Michael Jackson was his son-in-law, the king of pop, right? Then he died on August 16th. All them famous people that's known as the king and queen of their profession dying on August 16th, right? Life Path 9, come on, y'all. Dude that played him a Life Path 9, Austin Butler, come on. I know I'm talking, man. I know I'm a talker. Okay, so she was part of the group The Sweet Inspirations, which provided background vocals for Presley, also known as the King. The King. The King. The King. More of a king than King Charles, y'all. Yeah, it's late. It's getting late, man. Okay. So they provided background vocals for Presley, also known as the King, at concert performances and for recording sessions from 1969 to 1977. The group caught the attention of Presley after they recorded the song Sweet Inspiration in 1967, okay, which became the group's signature hit. Elvis was said to have loved the singers, especially Myrna Smith, and she was a looker in her time, I tell you. And he loved their hit song so much that he hired the group of 4 black female singers to do backing vocals for him. At times, the group opened for Presley, and there were times Smith provided backing vocals alone, minus her group. Oh, sexual healing, sexual, when I get that feeling, Okay, I'm sorry. According to Smith, Presley always treated her and the group well, wherever he performed nationally and internationally. In a documentary called This Time, Smith said Elvis continuously tried to pursue a sexual relationship with her. The two were always flirting with each other. Smith said that she and Presley shared a special type of relationship, but that nothing sexual ever happened between the two. He wanted something to happen, said Smith, but I wanted to keep our relationship about the business on stage and in the recording studio. So she was professional. Professional. See how it works? Okay. Smith eventually married Jerry Schilling, Presley's longtime business associate and close friend. The interracial couple was married from 1982 to 1987. Presley died in 1977. Smith died on December 24th, 2010. She was 69 years old. 69. Okay. See, I can look up her. She did a couple of interviews. She did a couple of interviews before she passed on, video testimonies and stuff like that, and it's worth watching. So it's good she left a testimony, but she ended up marrying Elvis's best friend, one of his best friends and close, Jerry Schilling. So I mean, she had that jungle fever. They had jungle fever. So and Elvis had a jungle room. He got a jungle room in Graceland. I don't know. Zoom. I'm gonna shake it around. Gonna shake it around. Shake it. Okay, I'm stopping now. It's getting kind of late. It's getting late.
Down the hall, in one of the little small rooms rehearsing. And so Dale or somebody came in the room and said, hey, y'all want to meet Elvis Presley? And we were all little kids. We like flipped out. We were like, oh, yeah. So they took us down the hall and we went in the studio and Elvis, big as life, standing in the center of the room, and he had his whole entourage that you might see now in the video in the studio, and he stopped his session and he spoke to all of us. He shook our hands, you know, and we were at odds. We were young, 17, 18, 19. And then he said, y'all want to see my car? And we said, yeah. So he took us outside of the parking lot, and he had a little Studebaker. I think Ford did a remake on it. So a little Studebaker, little Ford two-seater, and he opened the door. The interior was mink. And
I thought it was leopard.
and the dashboard had red lights, and when you opened the door, the red lights flashed Elvis Presley.
Wow.
I mean, we were just to meet Elvis Presley.
Yes, yes. I was there.
But even you saw the clip I played with 24 Karat Black, the group from Stax. They only had one official release album. They were on tour for 2 years plus years with no money, touring in a U-Haul. They had oh my God, they had a fanboy and fangirl moment with Elvis. Black folks loved Elvis, man. I played the clip. 24 Karat Black, they should all be millionaires because so many people, like hip hop people like Dr. Dre, Jay-Z, Kendrick Lamar, name who's who of your favorite rappers, they sampled their music. Because like you look at the music now, a lot of rap I like today's rappers is because they sample soul beats. That will make their stuff so good. Like they even go back for over 20 years ago to Eric Sermon. Just like music. Ooh. What made that song fire? Was it Eric Sermon? And I like PMD. But no, it was Marvin Gaye sampling that music song he did. Oh yeah, just like music. I love Marvin. Marvin, he used his mental illness as genius. It was like for music making genius. He said, "Hey man, how you doing, dear? I take that, daddy, but you know what something? I know what, man. It just get my heart. It get me so angry inside." I said, he be doing, he talking to himself. Oh, baby, just like music. Okay, y'all know I could dance, right? Yeah, no, he probably my cousin. I got a couple of famous cousins, whatever, music and entertainment, but on all sides of my family. Curtis Mayfield, Spud Webb, all that stuff, man. That's me. But that's all of us. That's black people. See, we only matter when we entertaining folks. You know, if they can exploit us and they can use us as entertainment, that's when we matter. You know, we don't matter because we exist. We matter we matter to others when we can benefit them. But anyway, that's another story. Like Elvis used to be carpet off here. I'm all shook up. Jailhouse rock on. Jailhouse rock. Okay. Yeah, 24 Karat Black. Check out them. Stream some of their music, man. But they're not getting paid anything. But a lot of their music is used as samples, like Wu-Tang Clan, Dr. Dre. Like I said, so many of them. But they were in awe of Elvis when they met Elvis. And Elvis showed them that custom-made car he had. But if Muhammad Ali and Elvis, they did a road trip like that, man, that would have been epic, man. That would have been so amazing for somebody to document that. You know, because Muhammad had his good friend who was the photographer who died a little bit after Ali died. He didn't last that long after Ali died because they were so close, I guess. He caught a lot of iconic moments of Ali. But I thank God for Ernest Withers. Y'all might think he's a traitor and all that stuff, but Ernest Withers did some great iconic work. For him to catch a picture of a young Elvis and young B.B. King all dressed to the nine for a good cause. That's amazing. But anyway. What else? I think that's it. I mean, I just wanted to give y'all some type of a primer or something to start your journey. Like I'm just throwing breadcrumbs out there because I want y'all to think of this Elvis thing a different way because, you know, the biggest selling artist for a long time wasn't Elvis. It was Fest Domino. Fest Domino was outselling Elvis at one point. You know, Fest Domino, I mean, the Fat Man, that boy was bad. That's bad in a good way. You know, he lost everything during Hurricane FEMA and Katrina. You know, he lived in a night ward all his life. He didn't run to the suburbs. He could have lived anywhere in the world probably, but he wanted to live at home in the ninth ward. He lost all this stuff in the flood, whatever, in the hurricane, whatever they call it. You know, a natural disaster, whatever you want to call it. But Elvis had a lot of respect for Fats Domino's, from my understanding. We lost Fats Domino and Chuck Berry in the same year, 2017, along with Baba Dick Gregory. Baba Dick Gregory went to the same high school as Chuck Berry and Arthur Ashe, Sumner High School in St. Louis. Wade, all right? D. Sumner High School, named after Senator Charles Sumner from Massachusetts, who almost got killed on the floor of Congress by a U.S. representative from South Carolina named Preston Brooks. Beat him with his cane, man. And he was convalescing for a couple of years before he came back to Congress, or back to the Senate, whatever you want to call it. And before I get out of here, I want to further add to this historical record of this wonderful monumental podcast. I want to add the actual response of my mom to the passing of Elvis. See, my mom, she wrote this back in 2018, right after the passing of Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul. You see, a lot of folks felt it in Memphis. Aretha was born in Memphis, but she died up in Detroit. But this happened on August 16th, 2018. And people like myself and other folks say, okay, this is the same. August 16th is also the day that Elvis died. Elvis died on August 16th, 77. Then we started talking about Robert Johnson, Babe Ruth, all these greats died on August 16th, who are, considered American cultural royalty. And so memories, and Aretha was born in a home here in South Memphis and Soulsville, where Stax is located. A lot of history in that neighborhood, but her home where she was actually born still stands. So a lot of people were paying homage to her birthplace in honor of Aretha Franklin. So I want to read my mom post on Facebook about her memories of when Elvis died. They had his funeral. Matter of fact, Elvis was buried right across from her neighborhood of Bunker Hill. Like, he's buried in a place called Forest Hill Cemetery originally. He was buried there, which was right across the street from Hamilton High School in Bunker Hill. Young Dolph is actually buried in the cemetery over there as well, too. Right across from his alma mater of Hamilton High School, somewhere over there. But I want to read what Mom said. Dr. Callie Hurd, Dr. Mom, the artivist mom, Dr. Callie Hurd, Dr. Mom. That's what she said on August 19, 2018. She said, I remember when Elvis Presley died on August 16th, 1977. My friend Gwendolyn Purcell and I took the time to stand in line to view his body in Graceland. The lines were long, but we were determined to give our respect to the king of rock and roll. We almost made the viewing, but they shut the lines down as we were almost close to getting to the gate. Elvis Presley's burial was at Forest Hill Cemetery, which was less than a block away from my parents' house by Hamilton High. On the day of his funeral or burial, Gwendolyn Purcell, my sister Lizzie Taylor, and I sat on the curb of Weona store, waiting for the hearse carrying Elvis's body and the limousines to come to the cemetery for his burial. We were in astonishment and amazed by the white parade of cars and seeing the family members, celebrities, etc. My friend Gwendolyn Purcell was busy taking pictures with her camera to make sure she captured every moment. We met people from all over the world. My little brother and sister made a lot of money selling special editions of the commercial, that's in the commercial appeal, in honor of Elvis Presley. When the burial was over, the staff at the Forest Hill allowed us to come and visit Elvis' original resting place, where he was buried with his mother in a mausoleum, where his body had laid to rest until they moved them to Graceland. Because he had so many flowers, they even allowed us to give some as souvenirs to take home. It seemed as if they had hundreds and hundreds of them. When Gwendolyn Purcell dropped off her films to be developed, the company stated that they were destroyed and she never received the photos. The sad part is that we believe they took them when they realized they were pictures of Elvis's funeral. I will never forget this day because it allowed me to give my respect to someone who I respected. So that's my mom, Dr. Callie Hurd. She's a black woman. She's from Memphis, from the South Memphis. That's her response to the past. And Aretha, she's thinking about what happened when Elvis, the king of rock and roll, died. So I mean, and then I'm gonna read the comment section because it's like these other people, peers of hers who are now older people, they recall, how it was when Elvis died in the city of Memphis, and these are black people. So I just want to see that. This is why I believe in counter the narrative. Now I'm not, like I said, I'm not the biggest Elvis fan, but I just think it's weird that like even in basketball, y'all give credit to Luka Doncic or Doncic, whatever his name is, Luka from Dallas Mavericks to go for dirt. He's the new Euro sensation. And I think Larry Bird is the greatest white basketball player of all time. Larry Bird is. And Larry talked the most trash than anybody. He was the biggest trash talker during this time. He was bigger than anybody. Because all these peers would say, yeah, Larry Bird talked the most trash out of everybody, but he could back it up. So Larry was Larry Legend, but like he said, he learned basketball from the black man. He said basketball is the black man's game. I remember I saw an interview. He did learn that in Clan State of Indiana from the black man how to play basketball. But I'm going to read some of the people's response to my mama's post. And this is somebody named Ellen Collins echoes. My friends and I were at the corner of EP in person right across from the Forest Hill Cemetery. Then my mom said, Dr. Keller, did you all get a chance to go to the gravesite? Then she replied, Ellen, I don't think we did not that day. Then it's Richard Rosamund Swanigan Dotson. Richard and Bobby made money too, running to the store for people and promising to watch their cars, and even let someone park the mom's grass that they got in trouble for, so people laugh at that. And then my mom, Dr. Hurd, replied to Rosamund Swanigan Dotson. Those were some powerful memories, and we had a lot of fun experience. Someone of that magnitude being buried in our neighborhood. It's a black neighborhood. Elvis got buried basically in a black neighborhood. It's still a black neighborhood, I remember that day too, as Linda Jackson said. I remember that day too, Callie. I was working a split shift at Marbell in directory assistance. When I got back to work that evening, we were bombarded with calls from all over the world asking if it was true. My little brother got in trouble for selling my mom's gospel albums of Elvis. A friend of my sister's was one of the paramedics that tried to revive him. Then my mom responded, Linda Jackson, you are bringing back memories. It is a wonder that your brother lived to tell the story. That was a treasure. Gwendolyn Purcell's mother was also at work at Baptist when Elvis died. She stated that they tried hard to bring him back to life, but they couldn't. Those were some historic moments that I will always remember. Then my mama added, don't you all remember when Fat Carter got arrested with the two guys from London or Britain that were trying to steal Elvis from his grave at Forest Hill Cemetery? Fat Carter had fell asleep close to Elvis's grave, and when the men got caught, the police arrested and took Fat with them to jail, but eventually released him when they found out he was not with the other two men. That made history because many of the people would go through the cemetery for a shortcut instead of going down person. That's the street person. Okay. The mom said, don't you remember when Shay's mother was at the Cadillac place and Elvis brought her a Cadillac and she made Jet Magazine for getting the car from Elvis? Yes, I remember that. LOL, that was Rosamund Swanigan Dotson in response to my mom reminiscing about Elvis giving somebody a Cadillac, a black woman. Then LaShire Jones. Oh my goodness, my mother introduced me to Elvis Presley at Liberty Cash on Dan Bellevue when I was probably 5 to 6 years old. I remained a faithful Elvis Presley fan. He often came into Liberty Cash with his entourage. The tabloids are correct. He played and ran in the store like a child. He would take my cousin and I to the big counter there and purchase a bag of jumbo lemon cookies from the jar. dill pickles, and of course a peppermint still for the pickle. Only fond memories of my favorite artist, emphasis my. Okay. I remember the announcement on August 16th, 1977, as if it was yesterday. I was already in Whitehaven at the farmer's market on Brooks Road. I insisted that Mom take me to Graceland. I arrived before the crowds and stayed there until late tonight. I arrived the day of his visitation before the crack of dawn. The hottest day ever. Emphasis ever. But I steadfast and able to go in for the viewing. Simply devastated. The day of the procession to Forest Hill Cemetery. My grandmother, 71 years old, and I walked from Silver Cove to Norris and Bellevue to watch the procession go by. I remain a fan and visit Graceland multiple times a year for visiting family and friends. Thank you, Callie, for sharing your story with us. Memories. Mom responded. Lashir Jones, I love your reflection on Elvis. It was very moving and touching. I am glad you got the chance to view his body. I can identify with how you felt. Getting to visit the grave made up for us not being able to attend the viewing. Just up the street, around the corner from the cemetery, was Dr. Herbert Brewster's church, that Trigg Avenue, which Elvis loved attending to hear the singing of Dr. Brewster. I did get the chance to visit Graceland years later, and it was worth it. Here, just reading into the record for the podcast, for history, for posterity. These are black people talking about they can remember, they can recall where they were at when they heard the news. Talking about Elvis, having actual memories of Elvis buying Cadillacs for a black woman that made Jet magazine, buying them candy and stuff like that, things of that nature. This is, these are Memphians, these are black Memphians, so, showing the full circle here. All right. See how it works somewhere. But, yeah, man, I want to thank y'all. I can't believe I got through this. And I hope that, I know I looking silly and I be doing all this ad-libbing and stuff. I hope something reached you all. And if it reached you all, reach into your wallets, reach into your cash apps, reach to their homes. But yeah, but seriously, if you are inspired by what you heard, what I presented, if this could be of use or service, please feel free to give back to the ministry, man. Because I feel an obligation to serve my people. I'm here to serve. I'm a Life Path 9. And that means that I give till it hurts, man. Because even in spite of what I'm going through, whatever I'm going through, I want to be consistent in giving out this information. So I've been doing it for 16 plus years. So why not? Why stop now? But if you love the words from Brother Herb, please subscribe. We All Be TV at YouTube while you can, man. And also think about giving. If you want to give, I'm serious about the Cash App. $ R2C2H2. That's $ R2C2H2. You got Google Pay, PayPal, and Zelle your support. R2C2H2 at gmail.com. Once again, you can Google Pay, PayPal, and Zelle it. Use the email R2C2H2 at gmail.com. That's R2C2H2 at gmail.com. All right. You also can Vimo your support at R2C2H2. That's at R2C2H2. All right. Apple Cash 901-299-4355. That's 901-299-4355. You can also buy Artemis Art, R2C2H2.com. That's R2C2H2.com. You can wear Artemis Art right here. Got my Jimmy Lonsford. Because rhythm is our business, and we do it well. Rhythm is our business, and it's going swell. Something like that. But Teespring. Now I'm working. I don't know what's going on. This Mercury retrograde stuff is real, but my Teespring shelf is not connected to my right store because like it should be connected to my R2C2H2 Play store, and that's where all my most of my shirt products are at. It's not at the all that jazz and blues shop or whatever. So I'm working on getting that worked out because I know it's probably costing me some sales. I know people like you try to click on something and it don't go to the right place. A lot of us give up. I'm one of them weirdos. I try to make it work and I try to figure out ways to get around certain things because as an artist, I'm more interested in trying to find a way didn't even like solve the problem because the thing about art is like the same visual problems I'm dealing with. Leonardo da Vinci had to deal with Picasso, Michelangelo, John Michel. So you don't solve problems, you find a way to get around, over, or under a problem to get to where you need to go. That's life, period. And I have some freestyle sessions. I get this laptop situation fixed, but I ain't gonna, hey, nobody can stop us now. No one can stop us now. I'm on the road. We on the road, baby. We all on the road because we all be in it to win it. We all be in it to win it, man. We all be in it to win it. There you go. I'm looking over here. I'm looking over there. I'm a creature of habit. I'm trying to figure it out, y'all. Yes, yes, y'all. Yes, 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 yes. Oh man. That's everything I want to say. I know I'll probably go to sleep, whatever. I'm gonna have this out for you all. This is gonna be out tonight. It's the night. We'll have this thing popping, baby. Thank y'all for y'all patience, man. I really appreciate y'all. Y'all don't understand, and because like y'all could do anything y'all want to with y'all time. Y'all chose to spend time with me to support what we doing, and we all be, and we appreciate y'all so much. We love y'all madly for y'all appreciation. We love it. We love it. Cause like y'all give me motivation. Y'all text me or call me and leave messages. And you think I don't be watching? I'm doing a better job of responding. And I'm glad I could be transparent and honest with you all. And I know everybody can receive what I got, but it's not for everybody. It's for somebody. Cause like you listening to me, the words come out of my mouth. I'm a rose that grew out of concrete too. So disclaimer, the views expressed by host and guests on the We All Be TV platform are not the official views, opinions, beliefs, or perspectives of We All Be News or the We All Be Group Incorporated. We All Be News is an organization that thoroughly believes in supplementing the information narrative that is usually supplied by the corporate news entities with those viewpoints and expressions which may be marginalized or ignored for a plethora of reasons. We are about informing the general public on alternative perspectives as it relates to news and information, and letting the general public be the ultimate judge in deciding on how to use said information. Informed citizens are responsible citizens. Thank you for your support. Thank you so much to everybody out there. Thank you so much. Be kind to yourself. Be patient. Be lovable towards yourself so you can practice all these wonderful things with other people. In the words of late great immortal Duke Ellington, we love you madly. In the words of Brother Ron, keep on producing and pushing. And know that the best is yet to come. I don't want to be a tiger. The tigers are too rough. I don't want to be a lion. The lions ain't the kind to love enough. See how it works? Somewhere, baby. Somewhere.
Oh, baby, let me be your teddy bear. Put a chain around my neck and lead me anywhere. Oh, let me be your teddy bear. I don't want to be a tiger. Tigers play too rough. I don't want to be a lion. Cause lions ain't the kind to love enough. Oh, let me be your teddy bear.
I just wanna be your teddy bear, baby. Hey everybody, this is Brother Ron. I am asking you all to do me a big favor. Think about supporting the We All Be movement. Your donation is tax deductible. The We All Be Group Incorporated is a recognized 501c3. And I'm just asking you all because I want to keep on bringing y'all quality work through the way that I know how to do best. And I'm going to sing my praises and toot my horn. A lot of y'all were not hip to Dick Gregory until Brother Ron brought him on the We All Be platform, until that jingle review we did. Y'all seen another side of Judge Joe Brown, and Judge Joe Brown's message has been amplified. But it was We All Be that brought Judge Joe Brown to y'all back in 2014. And so many others. And we covered so many things. So help us out so we can help you all. Peace.